But I'm going to take a step back from this. I want to touch briefly upon traditional education and how LUM set you up, and then potentially come back to some of the things we're discussing. So, just for the wider audience, so Azka did her undergraduate in accounting and finance, and without trying to toot her own horn, I just want to say it on her behalf. She tends to be a bit humble. She was on the dean's list when she graduated, so that put her in, I don't know, top 5% of the, yeah. Top 5% or 2%?
10%, I would say, maybe.
Okay. Either there's humility creeping in, but let's say it was one of the top tier or top rounds at the university. So obviously you were very academically driven, and you picked up something very traditional course-wise. Why did you go with accounting and finance? And do you think that has actually helped you in your practical life or not?
So it's a little bit of not exactly knowing where I wanted to go initially, and also just trying to play to my strengths. So being a good student, I used to love doing math. So I was very good at numbers. I think I still am. I'm more comfortable working with numbers than I am on like strategy or just content. I think
that
I work
in
better.
Normal people's, that, I'm sorry to cut in the middle, but that in normal people's vocabulary means Azka avoids fluffing.
I would rather prefer that. Yeah, numbers are more straightforward. If you ask me a question on numbers, I'll be able to answer that. And there's less ambiguity. Not to say that there's no ambiguity, there's less ambiguity with numbers. So I think I was always a person who was more comfortable with numbers. So initially, I think I experimented with sciences. I didn't really enjoy that too much. So then I shifted gears towards accounting and economics in my A levels. And that's where I really liked accounting, because it was like numbers. I know if I have the right answer, if my balance sheet is balancing or not. So just, I think having that clarity really like resonated with me. That's where I was like, okay, you know what? What's the next step? I looked at programs. I looked at LSE. I looked at LUMS. And LUMS had a very good program for accounting and finance. And I was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead with that. Of course, like it had both portions of accounting and finance. Finance was a bit more tricky, more challenging. I do like putting myself in that position where I'm able to challenge myself and learn more. So then eventually, then I completed my degree, and then I, of course, like ended up doing a master's in finance as well. But having said that, coming back to your question of whether it helped me in my career, I think it definitely did. It's a very broad field, I would say. So when you study accounting and finance, I think you have like a lot of options to work in different companies. You could work at an MNC in their finance or accounting division. You could choose to go maybe the chartered accountancy route. You could choose to go do a CFA, which I started and haven't completed yet. But there's a lot of options beyond that. And I think that a part of it is also coming from a traditional mindset where when you grow up in a family, the usual routes of employment are, become a doctor, become an engineer, or, accounting and finance. It's like a safe option in a sense. So I think it really did help me put in a position where I was able to choose what I wanted to do going forward. And then, of course, like when I studied more, it opened up new avenues for me. So I definitely, if somebody's not really sure about what they want to do and they do like working with numbers, it's not a bad option to go ahead with.
Follow Zarish Rasheed podcast and like and subscribe Zarish Rasheed on YouTube.